Hi y'all, it's me. I am here with a much requested tutorial for this project I created, and since I'm giving it away this weekend, I thought I better get the tutorial done while I still have it here to share with you. For those who missed it, I'll link the video below for a further in-depth look at this project, but it's a gift box, and then also to go with the gift box inside is this stand-up, it stands up and it holds 6 albums that can be used for 1 picture per month. As new mothers, you know, they're very busy. They don't have really a lot of time to fill up albums. And so this is an easy way for them to just, you know, add a picture each month and then add extra pictures in the pockets if they wish. I included some month little tags here so she can label each month. And so anyway, you get 3 on the front pocket and you get 3 on the back pocket, and then this can be displayed in the nursery. So I'm going to do this tutorial a little different because this is very labor intensive. So I'm not going to be actually cutting and scoring the pieces with you, as I've already done that. I'm just going to tell you the measurements. I will try to remember to list them down below for you. And we're going to just put together the base. I'm not going to give you measurements for any of the decorations because I feel like we all know how to layer paper. I try to do between 1/4 and 1/8 for each layer. And as you can see, I've done 2 layers here. I have the base, then I have 1 solid, and then the pattern. So you can figure that out on your own, and you can look at this back for reference if you want to see how it was done, how I decorated, etc. This is a digital collection from Echo Park. So anyhow, let's just get right into this tutorial, and we're going to start off with the box because that will be the easiest way to go about this project. So let's go through what you need for the box. You're going to need 4 pieces of cardstock. I used 110 for mine, but you can use whatever you want because you're going to be layering paper on it, so it'll be thick. Mine measures 4.5 by 8, and you need 4 of these. You're going to score 1 inch on the one side and across the bottom, the lengthwise. That's all. You're going to do that on all 4 pieces of your, this is the sides of the box. For the lid, you're going to need 1 9 by 9 piece, and you're going to score it at 1 inch all sides, and you're going to do your little slivers so that you'll be able to fold this up and glue them together. And lastly, for the box, you're going to need the base. You're going to need 2 pieces that measure 7 by 7, and that's all you need for the base. So let's begin. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our box sides and we're going to start to lay them out tail to tail, end to end, which means this way. And every place that you have, I'm going to just fold these score lines so you can see them a little better. So we're going to do the, let me get these folded. I should have done this part too ahead of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to tail these end to end together. And for that, I'm just going to use a little bit of glue here. I want you to do yours better than me. I am just going to basically show you how to assemble this box. So we are going to glue this one onto this one, and the next one onto the next one, etc. Tail to tail. And you don't want to go over that score line because you want to make sure that this piece can flex. Go to the next one, add a little bit of glue here, add the piece on. Remember, not go over the score line so you can make sure that they have room to move. And I made that a little off. Let me just correct that. It's hard to see on white paper, I know. Whoops, messed it up again. There we go. So then we're going to do the final piece on the end here. And we're going to put that up to that score line. Remember to leave little space so it can flex. And then lastly is this piece, and you're going to put the glue now on the back side, because this piece is now going to lay over to this piece. And it should line up perfectly if you've gotten all your pieces in the right place. I had to do it this way because paper is only 12 by 12. There's nothing else you can do about that. So now you have this box looking thing. On the areas where you scored the 1 inch at the bottom, you're going to come in and you're going to cut your little tabs here. I don't know if I need, I'm only doing one side of the two. You can see where they're glued together. We're only going to do one side, I believe, if I remember correctly. Remember, I haven't made this for a minute, so I'm just going to try it with the one, and if not, we'll come back and do the other side as well of that area. Okay. And then one more. Then these pieces will get folded in and glued like this. That's how you're going to glue those corners down. So let me get, I should have bent those. Remember, do take your time with this. Again, this is quite an intensive project, so it's going to take some time, and I didn't want to take that time to get it all, you know, done perfectly. So you're just going to glue these corners. Give it a second. Glue this side. This one. And then the last one. Oops, that one didn't hold long enough. So now you have this little frame looking kind of thing. Let's wait for these to dry just a second. And then you're going to come back in with your base, and you're going to glue it here, and you're going to glue one on the inside. So you can put some glue out here. Again, I'm just barely putting any because this is going in the trash when I'm done. It's just a prototype to show you how to do it. And then you're going to turn that over, and hopefully it sticks to your bottom, which mine didn't, but let's put that back. Press it down. Okay, and then you're going to take this piece and you're going to glue this one in here and then add your piece in there. That will create your box base, and it'll be really sturdy if you use 110, or once you get the other layers on, you will have your base. Mine is not exactly accurate because, again, I'm just rushing through this since it's a longer tutorial. Then we're going to go ahead to the lid, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to glue these tabs underneath the corners to form our corners. And just do that really quickly. I should have used hot glue. It would have been a lot faster, but I didn't want to not have the flexibility. Now this one, I always like to put this on my box when I've done two corners, and then test dry run this other side to make sure that there's going to be a good match. And if it feels good to you, then that can be glued into place. And it should with these measurements, it should line up perfect. And there is your, mine is probably not going to stick because I didn't let it dry long enough. But there you have your box. And then you just decorate it. Now I did all of mine, I did stitch. All of the top layer, I didn't stitch the other layers, just the top layers, because that's all that you really see. I also did inside the box as well because I like finished projects. So that is your box. Now let's move on to the stand for this project, and that is this piece here. And I will remove the books out of here if I can. Make sure they come out so that you can see it better. Okay, so for the stand, you will need, you're going for the entire project, for this piece, you're going to need 7 altogether. You need 6 for the books and 1 for the stand. And these measure 6 by 12. So basically it's a 12 by 12 cut in half. You need 7 of these. But we're only going to use 1 right now because it's just for the base, for the stand. So the 6 by 12, 1 scored at 6 in half, so scored at 6. The next thing you need is the hinge stand, which is this part right here, this thing. And for that, you need to cut a piece that's 5.5 by 6. And on the side that measures, I think this was 5.5. Yes, you're going to score at 1, 2 3/4, and 4.5. See, the hinges are there. So I'm going to go ahead and fold those. This one, you want to fold these 2 ends up behind, and then this one like this. So you're going to have like a mountain and a valley kind of thing, like that. You're going to take this piece and you're going to glue it. And I did all of my papering before I glued this all together. In some areas, you'll see, as you're starting to work on it, you'll see how that plays out, because some of the pieces you need to paper first and some you need to wait, depending on how you're going to paper this. This goes to the bottom edge of that 6 by 12, like that. See that? You want to make sure it gets all the way down to that bottom edge. And then you're going to take the other side here and put some glue, and you're going to lay that down, and you should have now your stand, just like that. Really simple. Okay, so what I meant by papering ahead of time is, so since I have, let's see how I can show you this. You see there's this piece right here. I wanted to cover that, so I wanted to make sure not to paper that piece until after I was done gluing this together. The pieces that were on here, you could do them ahead of time because they're not going to interfere with anything. So wherever you're going to have a flap that you don't want to be seen, those pieces get done last, if that makes sense. So now we have our stand. Now we need the boxes. That's this part right here. For the boxes, you need 2, and you're going to cut this at 5 by 9.5. On the 9.5 inch side, you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. You're going to score it at 1 3/4, 7 3/4, and 9. And then on the 5 inch side, you're going to score it at 3/4, and you're going to score it at 2. So now you have this little thing, and you should have 2 of these. So basically, if I recall, I'm going to cut all the way up to this cut line, I think. And then I'm going to remove this part right here, and I'm going to remove this part right here. So you're going to end up with this little flap like this. Again, we're going to go all the way up to the second score line. We're going to remove this lower portion, and then we're going to remove this little tab here on this side. You're going to do that for both pieces of that of this that you've cut. Then these go, you know, again, you're going to think about papering, how you're papering, so keep that in mind. I'm folding these all really quickly so we can just see how this comes together. And you're going to basically do this or this, whichever makes you more comfortable. So let's just do, I'm going to glue the bottoms down because I need help holding this for right now while I'm trying to rush through this project. So I'm going to push that one down, hold it, I'm going to push this one down, hold it, then I'm going to glue this here. So I'm going to put a little glue here and a little glue over here. And I'm going to hold these. Remember, try to keep this square so that it doesn't get all wonky on you. Just make sure all your edges are lined up. That's why I don't miter these, because I want this box to stay squared as possible. And when you miter, sometimes that won't happen. Let me get this holding because it's not holding. And then this piece is going to get glued onto the front of your stand, and the second piece will get glued onto the back of your stand. And let me just briefly get this on here. You just want to line that up. So make sure it's at the bottom, and then press all your pieces there. This again is not going to stick because I'm rushing through this. I just didn't want this to be a super long tutorial because, yeah. So let me just hold this. It's not glued perfectly, but you get the concept of what I'm trying to show you. So you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Once you get that piece cut, just do the same on the back. And this one, I waited to paper this inside until I had this part done because I wanted to cover the flaps. I did not do the inside of the box, but I did do the side, the front, the side, and the bottom. I like finished, as I said, so I did the bottom all over. So that's that part. Now let's jump over to the booklets, and give me just 1 second here. I'm trying to put my pin back in. So now we're to the booklets, and this is how it looks. It's very simple construction. So for the book itself, you have 6 of these, or you should now, because you cut 7. This is 6 by 12. This is your book base. For the front of the book, you need to have a pocket. So you're going to need 6 of these pieces, 1 for each booklet. This measures 3.5 by 7. On the 7-inch side, you're going to score it 1/2 inch and 6.5. You're going to rotate this and score on the 3.5 side at 1/2 inch. So you'll have 3 sides that are scored. And then I'm going to just come in here and do a slight snip. I am not angling because, again, I want everything to line up. And to me, when you angle, that doesn't always happen. So we're going to just fold on the score lines. And then basically this pocket, it does not have a depth. It just sits flat. So you can technically, okay, let me rephrase this. You can technically just cut this off. I forgot this one doesn't need a, to have the alignment as good. So we're just going to lay this down, and then fold this and glue it in place. Sorry about that. I kind of forget what I did because it's been a minute. And I'm going to glue this side here and press that down. Hold that. And then this is getting glued to the front side of each of these 6 by 12 booklets. Just like that. And that's how you get this front, excuse me, that's how you get this front pocket. Now you open this up, and the last piece that you'll have is 3 by 3.5, 3 by 3.5, and on the 3-inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. This piece will become a flap like this for the 3 by whatever cards. I did mine. You might need a different measurement depending if you're using the actual kit, but since I used a digital, I sized mine down. You may need it to be 3 by 4.5 instead of 3 by 3.5. So test yours out before you do this, but it's such an easy piece to do. And depending on how you want to do this, you're either going to glue this here, you can glue it up here, over here, or down here. And I did that on all of them. I did put them in various locations, not all on the right side, as you can see here. So basically, that is how you construct this whole thing. And you repeat this with your 6 booklets. And I'm just going to glue this here because so I can just make sure you see that concept. Then you want to lay your paper on top to make sure you cover that edge. That's all what you have to think about when you're doing this, is that you want to cover edges that are going to possibly show if you layered paper beforehand. So this is all of mine, and I'm going to just show you one more time. I do have a flip through of this, but just to give you the concept one more time. I only did a pocket on front because, quite frankly, this will be too fat if you add more, unless you make these boxes on the front much bigger. So keep that in mind when you're creating. Here's the last 2. And the last one. And also, just for reference, the only one that I decorated a little further on the front is the one that sits on the front of the box. So it will be right here when I put this in here. So if I had just done this, it would look, it would just look like no decoration, right? Which is okay if that's what you want. That's up to you. But this one, since I did have it in the front, I did add a little further decoration on it. Just hung some little doodads there, some buttons. So check out the other video if you want to see all the details and reference it when you're creating your own so that you can, you know, do your own thing. And I think that's it. The only other thing I did, which I don't have a tutorial for because I just made a card to go with it, so that you might want to consider adding a card to yours as well. It just simple, cut out some elements and popped them up to match that collection. So if you have any questions, let me know. And again, I'll try to list all the measurements down below for you. Give it a go. It's really fun. You just take your time with it. And if you do everything in, what do they call that? Oh, there's a name for that. Line, no. What do they call it? It's when you do everything at the same time. Like I sewed all my panels first, and then after I sewed, then I glued, you know, all this, and I glued all that. So try that and see if it works for you. But if you make one, please let me know. I'd love to see how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, do what makes you happy. Bye for now.